Hey there, it is Sunday, not my usual day to join you live, but I had a little story to share today that I've been thinking a lot of, especially as we're coming down to the week that we're doing our free mini course on complex cases. And it's a story I've been thinking about a lot, and it's my personal story. And I shared a picture last week. Actually, I'm going to pull it up here. It was this. It was a family photo from when my kids were babies. Sorry, my dog is deciding to go out in the middle of this live. My kids were about 1 and 3, and this is also when I started my business. This is when I started Reactive. And there was a particular quote from Brene Brown that had really struck me that week. And I put it on this with a picture of my family, right? I said, when I first became a mother, I suffered from serious half-ass shame. I felt like not only was I mediocre, actually, I felt like I was terrible at everything. I felt so stretched and so distracted and exhausted. And I said yes way too often in an effort to prove that I could do it all. And I've worked so hard. And her quote is literally the past decade. Well, literally it's been a decade for me too, because my kids are no longer 1 and 3, but 11 and 13. She said, I've worked so hard over the past decade to move from what will people think to I am enough. And I did, and I am working very hard at this. But something that really struck me about this picture, and this actually came up maybe last week, my sister and I were looking at pictures, and she was like, I see in that picture, is that the time when your jaw was messed up? And I was like, yeah. It was. So I don't know if you can see in this picture, I have this like wide open mouth smile. Now, it's not that I don't open my mouth and smile really big a lot. It is true. But at this time, when my youngest, from birth until about 1, I had a major flare of rheumatoid arthritis. And I'm going to go ahead and take this picture out. So I have rheumatoid arthritis, and as many people know with autoimmune diseases, that with the changes in getting pregnant and having birth, you can have a really major flare of symptoms, particularly after birth. I was dead set on not taking medications, and I wanted to be able to breastfeed my kids, so I didn't, and I had a really big flare after I gave birth to my youngest. What I really think about when I see that picture is one of the pieces of that flare was to my jaw, and it got so deformed by active inflammation that it got stuck open to where I couldn't actually close my mouth. So you'll see in this like whole 2 years of pictures that my mouth never closed. It was very difficult to chew. Thankfully, to another 3 years of orthodontics and physical therapy, I was able to close my mouth again without having surgery. That's beside the point. What really happened during that time when my kids were babies, I was in this total flare. By the way, it wasn't just my jaw, it was my hands or feet. I could barely stand. I struggled to change diapers in the middle of the night. My hands were so swollen. What really stands out for me is that I didn't ask for help. Gosh, I didn't realize this would be so hard to talk about. I did that alone. I didn't tell people I was struggling or I was in pain, and I didn't ask for help. And I have an amazing family that would have helped with the middle of the night diaper changes in a heartbeat. And I just didn't ask because there was such a big part of me that was such a perfectionist, and also a like do-it-yourself kind of person, and power through and don't ask for help. You're the one that should be helping others. That I just didn't ask for help. And I went through a year of that, of really living in pain alone. And again, not because I didn't have a really great support system around me, but because I chose to keep that to myself and really thought that I had to keep it all together, that I had to show, who knows what I was showing, show myself, the world, my family, that I could do it all, that I could be the mom, that I could start a business, that I could be a great PT and not be struggling in the background. And that is the reason behind so many things that I have, that I do at re+active and in our education. I really care about other people, and I know a lot of us, not just people that are moms, not just therapists, struggle with perfectionism, struggle to do it all, or maybe they think that everybody else has it all together. Well, let it rest that I do not have it all together, and I never have, and most of us have not. And one of the reasons that I started Bytes 2 years ago was to have a safe space for therapists like myself to be able to explore, to make mistakes, to be comfortable with saying, hey, I don't get this. This is really hard and I could use some help. Because you know what? 10 years ago, I didn't feel that way and I didn't ask for help, and I struggled alone in that time as a new mom and a new business owner, and I wish I didn't. And I want that for other people. I want other people to know there's a community of therapists who don't have it all together and support each other in that. And so that is a big part of my why, a big part of why we're doing a free mini course about this, about understanding ourselves so that we can show up and be there for our patients, and about having a community. This is exactly why we started a community, so that we can learn and grow together, but also be vulnerable together. So I wanted to share that story. That story was really hard for me to share, but also it's like the real thing. Sometimes we just see those pictures and it looks like a smiling, happy family. And don't get me wrong, smiling, happy a lot of the time with my family, but also carrying a deep pain and a physical pain inside. Until, of course, I got a lot of great help. And I'm still getting help. This is probably the number one thing that I am working on personally in my own journey, is asking for help. And I've certainly gotten better at it, but I'm still working at it. And Lily says here, I struggle with perfectionism, especially as a new teacher. I think this comes up so much in the new roles we take on. It came up for me as a mom, right? That was a brand new role that I knew nothing about. And Liz said, I felt the same, so hard to share. But once it's shared, it can help others. Thanks for being vulnerable. That is exactly why I'm sharing it. Not because this is easy to do, but because I feel compelled to really share, particularly as we are launching this free course this week. By the way, it's already here. It's on Tuesday and Saturday this week. And why we open up our masterclass and Brain Bytes to the world is to really get this message out and let people know that they're not alone. So I hope you'll join us this week. Again, our free mini course, there's a link in our bio, or you can go to the reactiveeducation.com website and join us for the course this week. And I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being an amazing community. Thank you for listening. And that has really made a world of difference to me in my life, as a mom, as a therapist, as a human. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a great Sunday. I will see you this week.